Have you ever stood up from a chair and felt your legs wobble, your knees ache, or your energy drop like a stone? Or maybe you've noticed that simple things, climbing stairs, walking uphill, standing for long periods, now feel harder than they used to? Here's the surprising truth. This isn't just aging, and it's definitely not just in your head. In many cases, it's a nutritional deficiency that's robbing your legs of power. And the solution might be just one food away. Yes, just one food, when used correctly, can help restore leg strength, reduce pain, and even rebuild the muscle activation you thought you'd lost. And I'm going to show you exactly how it works in as little as 12 hours. Now, that might sound impossible, but here's what's really going on inside your body. Muscle weakness and leg instability often aren't caused by the muscles themselves. They're caused by what fuels the muscles and what supports the communication between your brain, nerves, and those leg muscles. And there's one overlooked food that supports all three of those systems: circulation, nerve signaling, and mitochondrial energy, all in one shot. And no, I'm not talking about protein shakes or creatine or more caffeine. This has to do with something far more fundamental: nitric oxide, oxygen delivery, and something called neuromuscular efficiency. These are the real engines behind leg strength and stamina, especially in people over 40, 50, or 60. What the research shows is that many people are walking around deficient in a simple compound the body needs to open up blood vessels, activate nerve muscle coordination, and restore mitochondrial activity. And without it, your legs are literally running on fumes. In today's video, we're going to break this down clearly and simply. I'll show you the real root cause of leg weakness and why it's often misdiagnosed, why one single food, if eaten at the right time, can recharge leg strength in hours, not days, the science behind nitric oxide and muscle coordination, how to use this food in a way that maximizes its effect, what lifestyle habits are secretly sabotaging your lower body strength, and finally, how to build a sustainable leg strengthening routine without the gym. So if you're struggling with weak legs, tingling, fatigue, or you just want to feel more powerful and mobile again, you're in the right place. And if you find this kind of content valuable, consider subscribing. I post daily videos that blend functional medicine, nutrition, and simple science to help you take control of your health naturally. Before moving forward, I want you to watch this video completely so you can learn better before applying protocols and tools mentioned at the end before the complete video. Summary. To stay focused, let's jump in. If you've been trying to strengthen your legs with more walking, resistance bands, or even squats, but you're still feeling weakness, heaviness, or instability, you're not alone. And the problem might not be your muscles at all. Here's what's really going on inside your body. Muscles don't act on their own. They're only as strong as the signal they receive from the nervous system, and only as energized as the blood flow feeding them oxygen and nutrients. And when the communication between your nerves, blood vessels, and mitochondria is disrupted, your legs feel tired, unresponsive, and weak no matter how much you exercise them. Let me explain this with a simple analogy. Imagine your leg muscles are like a team of workers on a construction site. They're ready to build, but without tools, electricity, or clear instructions, they just stand around doing nothing. That's what happens when oxygen delivery is low and nerve activation is sluggish. Your legs have the potential to move and strengthen, but the support system isn't firing. So what disrupts this system? Two key culprits. One, decreased nitric oxide production. Two, impaired nerve muscle communication, neuromuscular junction. Fatigue as we age. Nitric oxide, a molecule that dilates blood vessels, declines sharply. By your 50s or 60s, your nitric oxide levels may be half of what they were in your 20s. That means less oxygen to the muscles, especially in your legs, which are the farthest from your heart and require strong circulation to function well. Without nitric oxide, your capillaries constrict, oxygen delivery drops, and your leg muscles are quite literally suffocating at a cellular level. That's why they feel heavy, crampy, or slow to respond. Then comes the nerve issue. The nervous system is like an electrical grid that tells your leg muscles when and how to contract. But over time, due to things like high blood sugar, insulin resistance, chronic inflammation, or even low vitamin B12, that signal starts to weaken. This leads to poor coordination, wobbliness, and the dreaded legs giving out sensation. In fact, a 2022 study in the Journal of Geriatric Physical Therapy found that reduced nitric oxide levels combined with diminished nerve conduction velocity were the primary drivers of lower limb weakness in seniors, not muscle mass loss. So how do we fix this? Here's the empowering part. Both nitric oxide and neuromuscular activation can be rapidly restored, naturally. That's what today's food focus is all about. In the next section, I'll share the single most powerful research-backed food that's been shown to boost nitric oxide production within 2 to 6 hours and begin restoring blood flow and leg strength in just 1 day. But before we move on, let's review a few key takeaways. Weak legs aren't always caused by weak muscles. They're often caused by poor circulation and poor nerve signaling. Nitric oxide is essential for muscle oxygenation, and it declines with age. Nerve muscle signaling breaks down with high sugar, inflammation, and micronutrient deficiencies. The good news, you can restore both systems using targeted food and timing strategies. If this is helpful so far, consider subscribing. I break down complex health issues like this every day in simple science-backed ways, and I always focus on natural, sustainable solutions. Now let's talk about the one food that can reverse this breakdown and how to use it for fast results. So what's the one food that can help restore nitric oxide, open up blood vessels, and re-energize weak legs, sometimes within just 12 hours? Beets, specifically raw beet juice or cooked beets, nature's most concentrated source of dietary nitrates, which the body converts into nitric oxide. Let me explain what makes beets so special from a physiological standpoint. When you eat beets, the natural nitrates they contain are converted in your saliva with the help of healthy oral bacteria into nitrites. Once swallowed, those nitrites are transformed in the stomach and bloodstream into nitric oxide, NO, a molecule that tells your blood vessels to relax and dilate. Here's what happens next. More nitric oxide, more dilation of blood vessels, more oxygen and nutrient delivery to your legs, better muscle activation and energy output. It's like flipping on the power switch to your legs. Now, this effect isn't subtle. In a 2019 double-blind clinical trial published in the Journal of Applied Physiology, older adults who consumed 140 mLs, about half a cup, of beetroot juice showed a 22% improvement in muscle power within 2.5 hours of consumption. That's not just a performance boost, it's a metabolic reset for the muscles. And it gets even better. B-down nitric oxide doesn't just improve strength, it also enhances neuromuscular efficiency, meaning your brain's signals to the leg muscles become clearer, faster, and more synchronized. This improves balance, control, and the ability to respond quickly, something incredibly important for fall prevention. But the key is timing and form. To maximize the nitric oxide effect, use fresh or concentrated beet juice. 100 to 200 mLs is typically ideal. Consume it on an empty stomach in the morning or 2 to 3 hours before physical activity for best blood flow results. Avoid using mouthwash before or after antibacterial rinses. Kill the oral bacteria needed for nitrate conversion. Pair with vitamin C-rich foods like lemon or oranges. This helps stabilize nitric oxide and prolong its activity in the bloodstream. Hydrate well. Nitric oxide works best when blood volume is supported by proper hydration. Many people feel noticeable improvements in their legs within just hours. More energy, more stability, and less heaviness. And with daily use, the benefits compound. Now you might ask, can I just take a nitric oxide supplement instead? The answer is maybe, but studies show that natural dietary nitrates from beets outperform synthetic NO boosters in both safety and bioavailability, especially for people over 50. Also, beets support liver detox, provide betaine to reduce inflammation, and help thin the bile, which indirectly supports fat metabolism and hormonal balance, two major factors in leg strength and energy. Let's pause for a moment to connect the dots. The reason this works so fast is because we're not just working at the level of the muscle, we're enhancing the environment around the muscle, the blood flow, the nervous input, and the oxygen delivery. That's how leg power is truly restored. And remember, consistency matters. Even just 3 to 4 days a week of beet support can lead to major changes in how your legs feel, move, and recover. Now we'll go deeper into the concept of energy leaks in your legs and why some people still feel fatigue even after correcting blood flow. You'll learn how your mitochondria, the actual engines of your muscle cells, can be rebooted naturally. Now that you understand how nitric oxide from beets can dramatically boost circulation and nerve signaling, the next question is this: why do some people still feel leg fatigue even when blood flow improves? The answer lies inside your cells, specifically in the mitochondria, the tiny energy factories that power every movement you make. Here's what's really going on inside your legs. When you move, walk, or stand, your muscles depend on mitochondria to convert oxygen and nutrients into a molecule called ATP, adenosine triphosphate. ATP is the currency of cellular energy. Without enough ATP, your legs literally run out of fuel. But as we age, these mitochondria slow down. They produce less ATP, they become damaged by oxidative stress, and they stop working efficiently. The result? Energy leaks. That means your muscles are still trying to do their job, but they're leaking energy, like a battery that won't hold a charge. Let me explain this with a simple analogy. Think of your mitochondria like a row of phone chargers. In your 20s and 30s, they're high-powered, fast-charging adapters. But over time, they get worn out, dusty, frayed, and eventually they only deliver a trickle of power. You plug in your phone and it takes hours to get to 20%. That's exactly what happens to your muscle cells without mitochondrial support. A 2021 study published in Frontiers in Physiology showed that older adults with chronic leg fatigue had up to 40% fewer functional mitochondria in their lower limb muscle cells compared to age-matched controls with strong mobility. The shocking part? This wasn't due to inactivity. It was due to nutrient and metabolic dysfunction. So how do we repair and recharge mitochondria? Naturally. Here's where it gets exciting. Research has identified 3 key ways to rapidly enhance mitochondrial energy production in the legs. 1. Time-restricted eating. When you fast for 14 to 16 hours, your body ramps up a process called mitophagy, clearing out damaged mitochondria and replacing them with new, high-functioning ones. This improves endurance, strength, and energy output, especially in your lower body where mitochondrial demand is highest. Tip: try a 16-8 fasting schedule with your first meal around 10, i.e. emming, and last meal by 6 p.m. 2. Nutrients that feed the mitochondria. Certain compounds act as direct fuel or cofactors for ATP production. The most powerful include CoQ10, helps convert food into usable cellular energy, especially important if you're over 50 or on statins. Magnesium, required for every step of ATP synthesis. L-carnitine, transports fat into mitochondria for energy burning. Alpha-lipoic acid, regenerates mitochondrial antioxidants and improves nerve conduction. The most powerful include 2 elements, carbon and eliminate. The most prevalent include 2 elements, carbon and eliminate. The most prevalent include 2 elements, carbon and eliminate. The most prevalent include 2 elements, carbon and eliminate. The most prevalent include 2 elements, carbon and eliminate. The most prevalent include 2 elements, carbon and eliminate. The most prevalent include 2 elements, carbon and eliminate. The most prevalent include 2 elements, carbon and eliminate. The most prevalent include 2 elements, carbon and eliminate. The most prevalent include 2 elements, carbon and eliminate. You don't need to take a dozen supplements, but even adding magnesium glycinate at night and a CoQ10 soft gel in the morning can be a game changer for leg strength and stamina. 3. Movement that stimulates the mitochondria. Without exhausting the muscle, here's a mistake many people make, thinking they need intense leg workouts to rebuild strength. But that often overwhelms the mitochondria and backfires. Instead, use short, low-intensity, high-frequency movement. Things like 3-minute calf raises and leg swings every few hours. Walking for 10 minutes after meals. Breathing deeply through the nose while standing or doing gentle squats. These micro movements act like charging pulses for your mitochondria. They boost blood flow and oxygen and stimulate energy production without depleting your reserves. Let's tie this together. If you've been struggling with leg weakness, it's not just about muscle, it's about the energy inside the muscle. By combining beet juice to open up the pipes and mitochondrial support to feed the cells, you create the conditions for fast, lasting leg power. If you're finding this helpful, hit the like button and subscribe. I release videos like this every day to help you rebuild strength, energy, and health naturally and without medications. Okay, now we'll look at how hidden hormonal imbalances like cortisol and insulin resistance silently sabotage your muscle coordination and leg stability and how to fix it. So far, we've talked about blood flow, nerve activation, and mitochondrial energy as the foundations of leg strength. But there's one more layer we need to address, and it's one that most people, and even many doctors, overlook. Your hormones. Here's what most people don't realize. Your ability to feel strong, stable, and energized isn't just about muscles or food. It's regulated by hormones, minute by minute. And when even one of these hormones is off, your legs can feel weak, uncoordinated, or simply not connected to your body. Let me explain this with a simple metaphor. Imagine your leg muscles are the engine, and the blood flow and mitochondria are the fuel system. But your hormones, they're the software that tells the engine when to rev, when to rest, and how much power to deliver. If the software is glitchy, no matter how good the engine or fuel, the system malfunctions. There are three main hormonal saboteurs we need to address. One, cortisol is essential in small bursts. It wakes you up, helps mobilize energy, and responds to stress. But when cortisol stays elevated due to poor sleep, emotional stress, or inflammation, it starts to break down muscle tissue, especially in the legs and glutes. This process is called catabolism. Your body actually eats away at your muscle to create short-term energy. The result? Thin, weak legs with poor endurance. Chronic cortisol also depletes magnesium and potassium, two minerals essential for muscle contraction and nerve function. Solution: prioritize deep sleep in bed by 10 p.m. to align with cortisol rhythm. Add electrolyte-rich drinks during the day, especially if you're sweating or under stress. Practice box breathing, inhale 4, hold 4, exhale 4, hold 4 to reset cortisol within minutes. 2. Insulin is too high from excess carbs, snacking, or insulin resistance. It blocks fat burning, increases inflammation, and promotes fat storage in the thighs and calves. But here's the part most people miss. High insulin also interferes with muscle repair and nutrient absorption, especially magnesium and potassium. So even if you eat well, your muscles may not be getting the fuel they need to recover and strengthen. What the research shows is that older adults with insulin resistance often experience faster declines in leg strength and mobility, even with normal body weight. Solution: stick to 2 or 3 meals a day with no snacks. Limit refined carbs and sugars. Focus on high-fat, low-carb meals. Walk for 10 minutes after meals to improve insulin sensitivity. Add apple cider vinegar 1 teaspoon before your largest meal to blunt insulin spikes. 3. Testosterone isn't just about libido or muscle mass. It plays a huge role in neuromuscular control, reaction time, and muscle fiber integrity, especially in the legs. Low testosterone, which is increasingly common due to stress, poor sleep, and xenoestrogen exposure from plastics, chemicals, etc., leads to slow, weak, and less coordinated movements. Yes, women need testosterone too, just in smaller amounts. When it drops, they often feel weaker, less stable, and more fatigued during movement. Solution: add healthy fats like pasture-raised eggs, olive oil, avocados. These are building blocks for hormone synthesis. Prioritize resistance training 2 to 3x per week, even just bodyweight squats or leg lifts. Avoid plastics and endocrine disruptors. Drink from glass or stainless steel, and use natural personal care products. Ensure adequate zinc and vitamin D. Both are essential for testosterone production. So what's the takeaway? If you've been struggling with leg weakness that doesn't respond to exercise or nutrition alone, it's time to look at your hormones. Correcting cortisol, improving insulin sensitivity, and supporting natural testosterone levels can unlock strength, balance, and confidence you didn't know you still had. And remember, hormones don't act in isolation. Every small change you make in food, sleep, stress, and movement starts to shift the hormonal landscape in your favor. Now I'll show you how to time and combine the nitric oxide-rich food we talked about earlier, beets, with these metabolic and hormonal principles to get the maximum effect in the shortest amount of time. We've talked about the science behind nitric oxide, mitochondrial energy, and hormonal health. Now let's bring it all together with a specific protocol you can start today. Because eating beets randomly won't give you lasting results. To truly rebuild leg strength in a way that sticks, you need to time, pair, and support this food strategically, using your body's natural rhythms and metabolic needs. Here's exactly how to do it. Step 1, Timing matters. Eat beets when your muscles need oxygen most. The best time to consume nitrate-rich beets is first thing in the morning, ideally 30 to 60 minutes before your most active part of the day. Why? Because nitric oxide levels are lowest after sleep and your body is most insulin sensitive in the morning, meaning nutrients are used more effectively. If you do any walking, standing, or light exercise after breakfast, this is when your legs need that oxygen surge the most. Another optimal window is 2 to 3 hours before light leg activity, such as stair climbing, housework, or even light resistance training. This gives the body time to convert dietary nitrates into nitric oxide, which peaks around the time you're moving. And protocol, morning option, 150 mLs of fresh beet juice or 1/2 cup of cooked beets. Afternoon option, same dose, 2 hours before movement, if mornings are busy. Step 2. Combine beets with nitric oxide enhancers. Beets alone are powerful, but you can amplify their effect by combining them with natural cofactors that stabilize and extend nitric oxide action. Pair your beets with citrus fruits or lemon water. Vitamin C enhances NO stability. Arugula or spinach, also high in nitrates. Garlic or pomegranate boost endothelial function and blood flow. Pinch of sea salt supports mineral balance and hydration for vascular tone. Example, nitric oxide boosting breakfast. Beet juice with lemon, 2 boiled eggs with arugula, and olive oil. Warm water with a pinch of pink salt. This combination floods your system with not just nitric oxide precursors, but also essential fats, amino acids, and antioxidants that power leg strength at the cellular level. Step 3, protect the nitric oxide conversion pathway. Here's where many people unknowingly block the benefits. Avoid using mouthwash, especially in the morning. Antibacterial mouthwashes kill the nitrate converting bacteria in your mouth. No bacteria equals no nitric oxide. Avoid antacids or acid blockers around beet consumption. They reduce stomach acid, which is needed to convert nitrates into nitrites. Don't eat sugary carbs with your beet intake. High glucose blunts nitric oxide production by causing oxidative stress in the endothelium, lining of blood vessels. Stick with whole, unprocessed, low insulin meals around beet consumption. Step 4, move after eating. Don't just sit. This is crucial. Movement activates blood flow, tells the body to deliver oxygen to your muscles, and creates a demand for nitric oxide. Without that demand, the boost from beets gets underutilized. After your beet-rich meal, walk briskly for 10 to 15 minutes. Do 2 minutes of leg raises, calf pumps, or chair squats. Stretch your hips and thighs while breathing deeply through your nose. These small actions multiply the oxygen delivery effect and help rewire neuromuscular coordination faster. Step 5, repeat 4 to 5 days a week, then cycle off. The body responds best to rhythmic exposure. You don't need to eat beets every day forever. Try this. Use beets 4 to 5 days a week for 3 weeks. Then take 1 week off to allow your body to regulate its own nitric oxide production. Use during periods of weakness, fatigue, or increased leg use, travel, exercise, recovery. Over time, your body becomes more efficient at making and maintaining nitric oxide, especially when supported by fasting, hormone balance, and mitochondrial nutrients. Let's recap. Eat beets in the morning or before movement for best results. Pair with nitric oxide boosters like citrus, arugula, and healthy fats. Avoid mouthwash and sugary meals that block NO conversion. Move your legs after eating to activate circulation. Repeat regularly and cycle for long-term metabolic gains. In the next section, I'll walk you through a simple daily protocol that puts all of this into action, combining food, breath, timing, and movement to restore leg strength naturally and sustainably. You now understand the science. Blood flow, nerve activation, mitochondria, hormones. But here's the key question. How do you apply all of this without turning your life upside down? You don't need to join a gym. You don't need 90-minute workouts. You don't even need special equipment. What you do need is a focused, repeatable daily rhythm that speaks your body's biological language, using food, breath, movement, and recovery to restore strength from the inside out. Here's the exact morning to evening leg reboot protocol I recommend, especially for adults over 50. Morning, 7 o'clock to 9 o'clock, IMMO goal. Wake up, nitric oxide, and prime the nervous system. Drink a nitric oxide enhancing tonic, 150 ml fresh beet juice, juice of 1/2 lemon, pinch of sea salt, optional 1 TSC MCT oil to support hormonal balance. Movement activation, 3 minutes 10 bodyweight squats or sit to stand from a chair, 10 calf raises, 10 leg swings, each leg. This sends blood flow to the legs and signals the mitochondria to switch on. Breath activation, 2 rounds of box breathing. Inhale 4 sec, hold 4 sec, exhale 4 sec, hold 4 sec. This lowers cortisol, improves oxygen delivery, and preps your nervous system for the day. Meal, 2 boiled or poached eggs, handful of arugula or spinach with olive oil, optional. Small portion of avocado or cottage cheese. This gives you clean fat and protein for hormone support and muscle repair without triggering insulin. Midday, 12 o'clock to 2 o'clock p.m. Goal, support insulin sensitivity and energy stability. Meal, protein, salmon, chicken, or lentils. Low-carb veggies, steamed broccoli, zucchini, greens. Healthy fat, olive oil, tahini, or avocado. Post-meal walk, 10 minutes. This lowers insulin response and increases nitric oxide availability, especially if you had beets earlier. Midday supplement options, if applicable. Magnesium glycinate, 200 mils, preferably with fat. Both support energy production and muscle contraction at the cellular level. Evening, 5 p.m. to 5 p.m. goal. Rebuild, not overload. Light dinner, low insulin, high impact. Bone broth or soup. Steamed vegetables with sea salt. Optional, soft protein like eggs, fish, or tofu. Avoid heavy carbs or large meals at night. This protects testosterone and growth hormone levels needed for overnight muscle recovery. 3 minute movement reset. Right before or after dinner, 10 chair squats. 20 alternating toe taps. 10 deep nasal breaths. This improves circulation to your lower body and strengthens the neuromuscular pathway during a critical time when most people just sit. Before bed, 9 o'clock to 10 o'clock p.m. Goal, maximize muscle recovery and hormonal reset. Magnesium plus electrolyte drink. Magnesium glycinate, 200 to 300 milligrams, pinch of sea salt in warm water. Optional, 1 TSP apple cider vinegar supports blood sugar overnight. Sleep strategy, no screens 30 to 60 min before bed. Sleep in total darkness. Try to be asleep by 10 p.m. to align with cortisol and growth hormone cycles. Weekly rhythm. Repeat 5 days on, 2 days late. To prevent fatigue or adaptation, use the full protocol, 4 to 5 days per week. On light days, just do morning beet juice plus movement plus magnesium. Once every 3 weeks, take a full beet-free week for nitric oxide reset. Let's recap why this works. You're using food as medicine, not just for nutrients, but for metabolic signaling. You're training the body to deliver oxygen and energy to your legs at the right times. You're aligning with natural hormone rhythms to rebuild instead of break down. And you're making it so simple and consistent that it becomes second nature. Now, this protocol only works if you try it, even for 1 day, and you don't have to do it perfectly. Just start with the morning tonic and 1 round of movement. Your body will feel the difference fast. Now, I'll summarize everything we've covered and give you one small challenge to try today so you can start rebuilding leg strength immediately. Let's take a moment to step back and reflect on what we've covered. If your legs have felt weak, heavy, or unstable, it's not just aging. It's your body signaling that something deeper is off. And here's the good news. It's not permanent. We explored the real root causes of leg weakness, and none of them started in the muscle itself. We uncovered that the true issue often lies in poor blood flow due to declining nitric oxide levels, weak nerve signaling caused by inflammation or nutrient depletion, mitochondrial fatigue, meaning your cells just aren't producing enough energy, hormonal imbalances like high cortisol or insulin resistance that block recovery. And through that lens, we looked at one natural food, beets, and how this humble root can ignite massive changes in the way your legs feel and function in just 12 hours. Because it's not just about nutrient, it's about how those nutrients trigger powerful biological responses in your body. Beets increase nitric oxide. Nitric oxide improves blood flow. Better blood flow wakes up mitochondria and reactivates leg muscles. It's all connected. You also learned how to time and combine this food with other natural enhancers to multiply the effect, how to support energy at the cellular level with sleep, breathing, magnesium, and more, and how to implement a daily rhythm that restores your strength without needing a gym. But here's the most important takeaway. You are not stuck. Your legs are not beyond repair. Your energy is not gone for good. You now have the tools to begin restoring your strength from the inside out. So here's your challenge. Tomorrow morning, try the Beet Tonic plus movement combo. Just that one step. Drink the beet juice, do 3 minutes of simple leg movements, then take a short walk, breathe deeply, and listen to your body. Watch what happens. For many people, even one day brings noticeably stronger, lighter legs, and if you continue this rhythm for a week, you may just surprise yourself. Stability, coordination, and confidence will start to return. Not from drugs, not from external therapy, but from you giving your body what it actually needs. If this video added value to your health journey, give it a thumbs up and subscribe. I post daily videos to help you fix the root cause of fatigue, weight gain, inflammation, and metabolic breakdown naturally, because real strength doesn't come from trying harder. It comes from aligning with how your body is designed to function. Take care of your body and it will take care of you.